Well, our first award tonight is the John Murray Show Listener's Choice Award. And I would like to invite the producer of the John Murray Show to present this award. Ladies and gentlemen, Margaret Curley.
Good evening, everybody. The John Murray Show's annual involvement with the Bord Gáis Energy Irish Book Awards is always a pleasure. We on the show all get to read more, which is of course a good thing, and our listeners get a fascinating insight into the personal lives of authors and the lengths they go to hone their craft. In order to achieve something wonderful, it is often said that you have to pour your blood, sweat and tears into it. American author Philip Meyer certainly took that to heart. Not only did he read 350 books as part of his research for his novel, he also learned to hunt and actually drank the blood of a buffalo to ensure that his writing was authentic as possible. Philip did well. He completed his epic Texan novel in 5 years. Donna Tartt, on the other hand, took 10 years to write her 800-plus pages. But that was the equivalent of 3 ordinary-sized books, she told us. She put her thoughts down in spiral-bound notebooks using different coloured pens. Concision is not her gift, and working fast is not fun, Donna said, readily admitting that she's not one for the distractions of Twitter. Michael Harding wrote his book as a therapy to overcome the depression that swamped him for several months. Unlike Donna, he embraced modern technology and Skyped a therapist in the United States in his search to still the negative voices in his head. His experience, he said, was a healing that taught him that failure in human life is not always a tragedy. It can actually be comic. Maggie O'Farrell's debilitating childhood illness unwittingly forced her to live a life of observation for 2 years and to read and reread every book she could get her hands on. A stammer throughout her adolescence meant that she was either totally silent or forced into a strategic use of language, a discipline which she later put to good use in her fruitful labours as a full-time writer. Eamon Dunphy got up at 5 every morning to produce his memoir, written in his trademark style of bluntness and honesty. He was unafraid to tell us that his mother had once chided him that there were 2 Eamons, the real Eamon and that fella that gave out on the telly. Well, thank God for him. This year, our listeners voted on 6 books, evenly divided between novels and memoirs. Before I open the envelope to see if the listeners voted for fact or fiction, perhaps we can have a little peek at the nominated authors.
The Sun, Philip Meyer, Simon & Schuster. Bonkers, My Life and Laughs, Jennifer Saunders. Viking. Staring at Lakes, Michael Harding, Hachette Ireland. Instructions for a Heatwave, Maggie O'Farrell, Tinder Press, The Goldfinch, Donna Tartt, Little Brown. And The Rocky Road, Eamon Dunphy, Penguin Ireland.
And the winner of the John Murray Show Listener's Choice is Michael Harding for Staring at Lakes.
And I'd be a fellow who did me prostate, so I'll leave that out of it. I'll just thank 2 people. Ciara Durley at Hachette, who's really I think a wonderful, wonderful editor, and she was such a good help in this book. And the other is my beloved companion for life, Catherine Carman. Thank you.
Michael Harding, congratulations on winning the John Murray Show Listener's Choice Award.
Thank you.
And how does it feel? I'm looking at you now in a tux. I haven't seen you in a tux before.
No.
But you look well in one.
Well, thank you. So do you.
And tell me.
It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels really good. I mean, I didn't expect to win it. I think it's a huge privilege to be shortlisted, and then to feel that you got all those votes from people is just a thrill.
And staring at legs, where did it come out of?
Well, I mean, I got physically sick. I got burnt out about 3 years ago, and I was working too hard. I got very ill. I was in hospital, and I was incapacitated, and I got depression out of it. And I ended up for 6 solid months from June 2011 until that Christmas. I didn't come out of the room. I didn't open the curtains. You know, the wife would bring in a bit of food. You might come out for an hour or so a day. I couldn't bear. I thought my life was over. And because I'm a storyteller, and I've been writing plays and books all my life, I felt the story is now about me, but I have to tell that as well. You know, so, and I was doing it in the Times, in the columns anyway. I was, you know, writing a kind of personal memoir all the time. So this illness came, this depression came, and I felt I need to just talk about it in the same way, in a kind of a funny way. Because I do think that, as Beckett said, nothing is more funny than pure misery. You know, that sadness and brokenness. And we've been through an awful lot in Ireland. We've been battered for 5 years, you know, with tough stuff. And at some stage, you actually, in your human spirit, begin to find the comedy in it. So that's where the book came out of.
And has writing the book been therapeutic?
It's been hugely therapeutic. And nothing more therapeutic than actually being with audiences. Because I'm a theatre person, I love audiences.
Because you've travelled around the country.
Yeah.
And had meetings with people.
This last
with
week
readers.
I've been in Thurles, I've been in Kilkenny, I've been in Ballinamore, I've been in Ennis. That's not only in the past week. And tomorrow night, or you know, after the night after the awards, I'm in Letterkenny. So I read the book, I talk, I ad-lib, it's a bit of comedy, but at the end of it there's always questions and answers. And it's the most moving part of the whole evening is when people put up their hands and share their experiences of depression or ask me questions about the book.
And has it given you a renewed purpose in life, or is that to be?
Well, it's given me a confidence as a writer. I mean, you know, I'm 30 years a full-time writer. Yeah. I've done plays in the Abbey, I've done books, but it's still hard going all the time to get an audience. And there's nothing more thrilling than to have an audience. Oh, it's so wonderful to have readers, to be able to go around the country and either through the column in the paper or through the book, for people who they'll stop you and they'll say, I read you last week, or I read the book and I really enjoyed it. That's what a writer dreams of, you know.
And what's next?
I'm writing about the mother. You know, I'm writing another book. I'm continuing that whole vein of memoir. And my mother, who died about 18 months ago and left her house in Cavan to me, and I started exploring the house. In a way, it's a matrix of a human being's life. All the little notes, all the little memories, all the little photographs, hidden under the bed or in books or in albums. And it's heartbreaking in one sense to go through the belongings of somebody who's passed away that you've loved. But there's something beautiful about it as well. It's kind of an act of restoration of a house. So I'm at that and writing about it.
Well, Michael Harding, congratulations again on winning the John Murray Show Listener's Choice Award, and continued success.